Welcome back to the channel, guys. Donnie D here. So today I'm going to talk about reasons why a walk-in shower can fail. And pretty much most tile installations won't fail, but the waterproofing on the showers will. So that's what we're going to talk about here and all that. So as I speak here, I'm just going to have some clips of a project I did with a shower failure and whatnot, just so you could see. But let's get started. Here we go. Okay guys, let's get to it. So reasons why a shower fails. I'm not going to rank them here. I'm just going to go through them. We're just going to go through what it comes to my mind right now. I have a few things written down. I'm going to tell you from my experience over the years doing this, what I've seen and what could happen. So a few reasons are, one being that there's actually no waterproofing in the shower whatsoever, and the water goes through. People think, oh, you just tile it and grout it and that's waterproof. It's not. It's actually very, very porous. Grout is cement, so the water goes right through it, absorbs it. Tile is definitely not as porous, but the water does go through it. So that's one reason there's no waterproof in the shower at all. Number two, a lot of guys use a liner still to this day, and I'm recording this in late 2022, and there's still people out there that are using shower liners. Now, that said, they do work when installed properly, but 90% of the time or so, they're not installed properly, and there's no pre-pitch. So when the water goes down, it goes through the tile and the grout, and it hits the liner, which is laying on a flat floor. There's no way that it's going to drain to the drain at all. It has to be pitch on a liner too, so that way it accommodates the water to go down to the drain, so it's pitch. So that's, another reason for problems in the future. Let's say you had someone build your shower and they did a liner but they didn't do a pre-pitch. Well, let's say they did everything right as far as the liner goes, nothing's leaking. Well, over time that water is just going to sit in the bottom of the shower. Since it's flat, it's not going to get to the drain. You're going to have mold and efflorescence, all that stuff over time in the shower. It's not going to be pretty over time. So I've seen that on a lot of showers, they don't pre-pitch it, so that's another reason. And then the shower that I did here, you could see that drain right there is way off the floor. They had no pre-pitch there. They had it way off the floor and 4 inches of concrete. So how do you expect the water to go down the drain when it goes through all that and hits the liner? It's just no way possible. So other things I've seen with the liners, which is pretty common, is when you put the liner over the curb. And even on this project, I only think it went halfway, or if that. Actually, I think it just stopped right at the curb. Is that when guys go over the curb with the liner, they nail it down into the 2x4 there, and by doing that, you're blowing the waterproof, and going right through it. And the nail does not seal the waterproof, and you put silicone on, whatever. It's just not a proof method, so the water is going to get through. If you put fasteners on the top of the curb, now any horizontal surface in the shower is going to be, critical areas. So putting nails through there and all that is just not a good idea. So that's another reason with the liners. And then another reason could be when you're putting the liner in where it meets the inside corners and around the curb and so on, people don't cut them properly, and if they do, they don't use the proper boots and the proper glue actually that they make for the liner to glue everything together to make it a watertight connection there. They make proper boots to go around the outside of the curbs and all that. And the inside, you have to fold it right, and it has to be at least 3 to 6 inches above the curb. That's where you're going to see the majority of your water. And then you put a nail on the top there. You don't want it low. You want it only about 1 inch off the top of the liner to hold it in there. And that's really it. But again, the liners are not the best way to go. There's just many reasons for failing. And one recent project I did, the liner, I ripped everything out, and the liner was actually not even sealed to the drain where they cut it out. So that's the most critical area in the shower is going to be the drain, because that's going to be seeing the most amount of water. And when you put those liners, they sell a special sealant to glue it down to the 3-piece train that has the bolts on it. So that's real important that they do that. So that's, you know, reasons that a shower is going to fail, at least with the liners. Now, if they done it in other ways, if you did a liquid waterproofing on all the mortar work that's on the shower base and all that, let's say that you hired a contractor to come in there and they do a mortar base, they do, you know, let's say cement board on all the walls around the curb, and then paint everything with liquid membrane. That works, but you wanted to make sure that when they apply the liquid membrane that all the seams are no more than 1/8, and if they are, you want to make sure that the contractor is going to put mortar there and tape, let that dry before he puts on the waterproofing, because the waterproofing really only can go up to 1/8 inch, at least for most liquid waterproofing membranes. And then a critical area with the liquid waterproofing membranes, actually at this time and up to this time really of this recording, I don't trust them by themselves on a shower base, because when you install those liquid waterproofing membranes, the thickness of them is very important how you apply them. So on a shower base, I usually trust sheet membrane over everything, and then once that dries, I'll usually hit the areas that have mortar whatnot with a liquid just to make sure that area doesn't absorb any water. But the liquid does work, but again, if you're going to hire someone, make sure they put on the right thickness of it and they do a flood test. That way you know you're good to go and all that. Besides that, if you hire someone that's, you know, up to standards and all that, and they use proper materials for the shower, there's many ways to build a shower. I have a blog on my website on how you can do it, but essentially the wall board goes up. You can use a waterproof foam board, or you can use cement board on the walls for the most part. Then you either put a sheet membrane over everything or a liquid membrane. Now, if you use a foam board, you only have to seal up the fasteners and the seams. Otherwise, you have to seal up everything if you use a cement board. But as far as shower failures go, as far as I've seen, that's usually it. I mean, if let's say everything is done right on, you know, let's say a modern shower with a sheet membrane or a liquid membrane, those could fail too. If the membrane fails for some reason, I haven't seen that yet, but if there gets, you know, if there's a hole through it during construction at some point, yes, it's gonna fail. But most of the time, when it's done properly, it's not gonna. And always make sure that your contractor that you hire does a flood test on the shower. It does add more time to the project, no doubt about it, but the 24 hours of flood testing will save you a headache and a lot of funds in the future by testing it right there and then. So if there is a leak somehow, some way, you can fix it right there and then before the tile goes up. That's all I really have for you guys today, and I hope this helped you out on making a decision on why your shower might be leaking. And that's the reasons, coming from someone like myself that's been in the business my entire life, and what I've seen, what could happen with this shower, you know, how it can fail. Besides that, you know, you got the plumbing drain and whatnot, and that usually doesn't leak when it's glued properly. But as far as everything goes from the drain up, that's the ways I've seen showers fail. Hope this helps. Thanks for tuning in. Donnie D, signing off.